So let's talk about some non-canon Pokemon that could be brought into the Pokemon games. Toby, again, we talked about some of these already, but Crystal Onix, I think that is something that felt like it actually could be real. And I'll cross my fingers for Scarlet and Violet DLC. I feel like that could have been real this gen with terrestrialization.
Yeah. I still struggle with the fact emotionally at night. I keep myself up thinking about how they didn't make it in Alolan form. Like, so much of Alola is inspired by the Orange Islands. And even the idea of regional variants kind of started there. The idea that they didn't make an Ice-type Onix back then boggles my mind. And then now with Crystal Pokemon, I'm like, really? So it's kind of an odd one to me that they still haven't utilized it. But I do think, given enough time and given enough regional variations, it'll happen. I really do.
The thing is, they've retconned a lot of things from the anime, right? Like giant Pokemon. There's been there's that mysterious Pokemon that ended up being a Mega Gyarados, right? There's been a lot of retcons, and I feel like Crystal Onix is a fan favorite. I don't know if they're just holding off on it.
I think that's what's so interesting about Crystal Onix is that one. I mean, it's this one. Basically, correct me if I'm wrong. Nothing important happens in that episode. It's a filler episode.
Yeah.
And
it's
yet,
an epic episode.
It is so iconic. Everyone knows Crystal Onix.
That
I've
cool
seen plenty
Charmeleon.
of people who do not care about the anime who knows about Crystal Onix. There's tons of other, kind of, I guess, non-official Pokemon, if you will, in the anime that appear or in the manga or all sorts of media. But Crystal Onix is the one. It's the poster child for it.
What are they waiting for? Honestly, they could make it a Paradox. That'd be kind of dope. Although that wouldn't make sense, right? Because then you got the Crystalline, the Diamond from Mega Steelix, and we've seen Megas, the elements of Mega Pokemon.
That could just be Mega Crystal. I don't know.
We have talked about we've talked about before on the podcast how DLC could be an expansion of Area Zero, and they make a point in Glamora's Dex entry to say Glamora is very similar to Terra Crystals, so perhaps we could get a regional Onix in DLC or a Paradox that is it's taken on this form because it's deep in Area Zero, so it's been hyper exposed to these Terra Crystals.
But
that'd be so neat.
That would be sick,
So
but
cool.
I feel like that wouldn't make sense in the Kanto region.
Well, that would be the job, is to how do I make that video? How do I explain its presence in Kanto? And I would find
just
something.
give us that, and we'll have Toby take care of the details. A month after.
That'd be funny. Can you imagine that?
If there ever,
yeah.
Go for it. If there ever was a generation that it should exist, it should be this one. They should at least just put it in the game so that we can terrestrialize it and make it crystal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the time.
Right, I do, and it was left out.
Onix is.
And I think that's so funny. It was left out, and it was the generation where it should have been in.